We made 12 passes normally on the normal runs. On the morning run, we made 4 passes. And each pass had 4 cans of gas. And the gas was transferred into the main tank, into the reserve tank, and while they were circling the airport. And then they came down and joined up with the airplane, going with the car, joined up, and they took up each can. They took down the empties and took 4 more new ones in that rotation. I think one thing that they said in the film was that once a day they got food, but I'm sure it was twice a day. They flew 4-hour pilot time and then switched. And one night they ended up down in Mexico. Woody was flying, and all of a sudden he woke up and he said, "Bob, where are we?" And they finally worked their way back to Yuma. I knew there was something else. The speed that we drove was anywhere from 55 to 80. Usually it was about 50 to 55, 55 to 60. And the more we got into the flight, the easier everything became. The airport was basically a 5,000-foot runway, and it was all paved, all asphalt. So in the morning run, a lot of times we didn't have the luxury of having the wind come up the runway. So we were going crossways across the runway. There was no military action, no civilian action at the time on the airport. So it didn't make any difference which way we went. Nobody had anything to care about. 20 cents a gallon. That was one of the things, one of the major things that was donated was Union Oil donated all the gasoline through their distributor there in Yuma. And the Shell dealer, Tate Hobart, donated all the gasoline for the car. So everything was donated. Like you saw in there, the people that made the food was the Valley Cafe, which no longer exists. Because yes, that's true. I wish I had the car today, but it's when I got through with it, or when the door expired, I had it painted and sold it to somebody and wholesaled it to somebody in San Diego. I got rid of it. I didn't want to sell it to anybody in Yuma.
But you indicated they had to change out a motor?
They had to change the motor one night in the Buick. Another thing that happened during the flight was my daughter Judy was born on September 12th, and I didn't miss a refueling run. I drove the Buick morning refueling crew, and we had a separate crew for the night refueling run. And we, as it indicated in the film, about 3 weeks into the flight, it was determined that we were having to lean the motor out too much to make it dangerous, and so they instituted a morning refueling run at 4 o'clock in the morning to take up just enough gas to get it over to 8 o'clock. And at 8 o'clock, then at 4 o'clock, we went out and made 3 runs. 2 runs with the gas, and, 4 runs. 3 runs for the gas we handed up, and the 4th run was for the food and clothing for the day. And so from then on, the morning crew did the 4 o'clock and the 8 o'clock run, and the evening crew got all the glory. they did it in the evening, and the road into the Yuma airport was jammed with people. And the closer we got to breaking the record, the more and more publicity brought people in, and they every evening, then at the time of the breaking of the record, there must have been 6,000 people out at the airport urging them on. The major problem that brought the plane down was in the right magneto failed. And they had made her fly over to Los Alamitos Navy training station over in San Diego area. And on the way back, they noticed they were having a little rough time in the motor. And so checking the mag, the right mag was completely out. That's what brought it down. Bob and Rudy went to I've Got a Secret. Remember that? They appeared on I've Got a Secret. The panel did not guess their secret. But at the end they showed what the secret was. And there was a fellow who owned the Hacienda Hotel in Las Vegas who said we needed an endurance flight here. The difference was it was a Hacienda Hotel, a commercial record thing, and the Yuma thing was a community thing. Everything in the Yuma endurance flight was donated, extra tires for the Buick and that kind of stuff. Everything was donated. There was nobody, they made a cent out of the whole flight, but it did bring Yuma back into where it is today. Paul Birch was the chief mechanic, and Paul, there is a book on this, but it's out of print. There will be a new book of it by the time of the 60th anniversary. They're redoing the book. Paul Birch was in this book, and the book was dedicated to the memory of Paul Birch. Paul was the brains behind the third flight, and he did all the mechanical work on the first two, but on the third flight, he did some major changes in the motor fuel system. And those changes were the things that allowed the plane to stay up for that 2 days or 7 weeks without touching down. The City of Yuma airplane was brought back in 1997 by the Yuma JCs. And the airplane was then restored into its original configuration. And about 2 years ago, it was given by the JC Foundation that owned it, was given to the City of Yuma Historical Society, and it now rests in an undisclosed location in storage in Yuma. The plans were to have a building erected for it at the junction of Highway 8 and 4th Avenue in Yuma. And that so far has kind of fallen through because of the economic situation. Bob and Woody were inducted in the second class of the Arizona Aviation Hall of Fame in Pima Air Museum. They were inducted in 1971 in the Hall of Fame. The City of Yuma is building new hangars currently at the airport. And one of the hangars will be named the Woodhouse Hangar, the other will be named the Youngford Hangar. So their name will go on perpetuity.